Well, I say I was spoiled. I don't mean to say I was allowed to act spoiled, but I was given everything I needed. You know, we had a beautiful tennis court, a lovely pond full of fish, a great big garden, and my father had a big business in London that he had inherited from his father and his grandfather. And so, you know, we were very spoiled, but we were not allowed to act spoiled. When I was at prep school, I was so naughty that they made me head girl. They thought that the responsibility would sharpen me up. Anyway, that's many years ago. It was in Kingswood, where I was born and raised. Not nasty naughty, you know, just sort of cheeky. And my mother took me away from that because she said the sort of children that get colds go there, and I'm not going to have it. I don't know. I think she was a touch snobbish, but in a very nice way. So I was moved to St Monica's prep school, which was up on the hill, and its great fame was that Vera Brittain, the famous writer, went there. So that gave me big ideas about how clever I was going to be. I was never really clever, but I did know how to pass the exams because I had a very, very good memory for sight. You know, sometimes people would say, but that's what the book says. I said, well, I remembered it. So I managed to get through what had to be got through. And then I went away to boarding school in Bexhill, as I said, and was very happy there. I'll tell you exactly where I was standing. We were on our summer holidays at a place called Sidwell in South Cornwall. My mother is partly Cornish and my granny was born in Bodmin. And so there's quite a bit of Cornish in us, which I value. And we were staying at a hotel called Sidwell, and we were standing in the garden before lunch, and Mr. Chamberlain announced there was going to be a war, and I can remember saying, oh, bother. I was, how old? 14. Oh, bother, says me. Interrupt the swimming and the learning to row. I rowed very well. Well, I mean, we were too little. I mean, they didn't know how long it would last. But Dad went back to London to do fire watching for his factory. I mean, he employed a great many people. And the Home Guard here in Kingswood, they had all that to do. And he died when he was very young. I think the result of the First World War, where he got a military cross, and the Second World War, the worries and things, and he got cancer of the esophagus and died when he was only, I think, 53. No, I went to join before I was called up. Yes, I did. One day I got on the train and went up to Wren headquarters, and I came back and said to my parents, I've just joined the Wrens. They said, well, you're not old enough, you're not going yet. I said, no, but I've told them I'm ready when they want me. And a very nice officer said to me, what branch would you like to serve in? I said, I would like to be boat's crew. I can row very well. So she said, well, we'll see about that. We'll let you know when you're in another few months, year, I think it was. And then I was called up, not as boat's crew, but as a visual signaller. And hence the semaphore, the flags and all that palaver. And going to HMS Cavalor, I had the time of my life. I mean, my friends were getting blown up and killed and sent abroad and things, but I'm not in that because out of 800 people, I was the only person who caught scarlet fever. So I was put in a fever hospital for about 2 months.
Oh my goodness.
So that's my class. And I shared a cabin with 2 girls that I met on the train. And by the time we got from London to Loughton St Mary's, we knew each other quite well. We said, let's pretend we're friends and we're joining up together, and then at least we'll know who we've got in the cabin. Because there were 2 lower bunks and 1 upper bunk. Yes. And I said, I'll have the upper bunk, thank you, and you 2 can be down below. And when we got to the front of the huge queue of people joining, we said to the officer, we've all been friends for all our lives, may we stay together. Complete lie, we met on the train, but it worked. The course was quite long because it wasn't only Morse semaphore, merchant navy flags, same bloody flag, same flag with different meanings for both navies. I mean, how difficult can that be? My teacher in the end was somebody called Smith, and he was an absolute love and very handsome. And he said, "Anne, I know your semaphore's a bit dodgy. Stand in the front row and I'll say the answers loudly." Wasn't that decent? He was a lovely man. He asked where I'd like to go. I said, "Anywhere in the south. I don't want to be troubled. Anywhere." Aberdeen. So I went to Port War Signal Station. Do you know about them? Well, during the war, the lighthouses had to be turned out, obviously. And they weren't used because they would show the Germans where we were. So they built things called Port War Signal Stations, sort of quite near the lighthouses. And Aberdeen, it was in a place called Girdleness, and it was about about half an hour in a bus outside Aberdeen, right out on a promontory, freezing cold, rocky, long walk and so on. And there were 8 of us, and we did watchkeeping, 4 hours on, 4 hours off, night and day. So on the night you went to bed at 12, you had to get up at 4. That was Nelson's idea. I didn't care for much at first, we got used to it. But you did that for 3.5 days, and then you had a day and a half off. Looking out to sea for enemy ships. Or anything, it was near the mouth of the River Tyne. Watching anything going into the Tyne or coming out, we had to log it and talk to it if necessary. Sometimes they sent a message. Sometimes they sent defaulters, the following defaulters, and they'd go with a naval number, name, address, and everything else. I never got it all down, so I expect some of them escaped. We also had a big, I think this is the biggest laugh we had in the war, my friend Babs and I. There was a big book about 15 inches square with lead covers. And in this book, just lift the cover, never mind the book, it had the code that you had to do to every passing ship to make sure it was one of ours. And if they didn't know the correct return code, they were the enemy. Well, I mean, we never had an enemy going past us, but we had to do it every ship that went by. And at the beginning, I still laugh at it, at the beginning of the book, we were about from here to the end of the garden, away from the sea, the extreme end of the garden. And we were on the rocks within our 8-story lighthouse affair in place of the lighthouse. And at the beginning of the book it says, in the case of the advance of the enemy, throw this book into the sea. Oh,